The year was 2008. I'd have to say it was one of the worst years of my life. Well, in 2008, we seen the financial markets crash in North America, around the world. In the fall of 2008 as well, I got custody, full-time custody of my kids. Became a single dad. I got to a point I was scared to log on to my bank account, wondering if I'd see a zero balance, wondering if I'd have enough money to pay the mortgage. Not a way for life to be for anybody. So how did I get past that? I had to sit back and say to myself, what have I done for my clients? How did I help them get to a point where they were living life on purpose, not by accident? I needed to think about what I had developed, what I had put in place to instill confidence in my clients. I need to regain myself. So how did I do that? Well, I'm going to tell you a story about a couple actually, named John and Sally. So I sat with John and Sally and we goal set. And I cover between 10 and 12 different goals specifically. And there's 4 that always are predominantly the same. Whether it's an individual or a couple, or even groups that I've coached, these 4 things are always something that people struggle with, and they really want. Number 1 is to get out of debt. Debt is a cancer in our society. It's eating families and individuals alive. Number 2, they want to be able to go on a vacation. The next thing is they literally want to be able to, in the event of a tragedy, make sure their loved ones are protected, that their loved ones are going to feel at peace, that they're going to be able to move on with their lives. And lastly, you have to budget with people. Your budget is supposed to be an active representation of your life, even your dreams in there. So we basically put the vacation, we put it to pay off debt, and the most important entry we put in there was the event of a tragedy, so that Sally, who was the one that wanted it the most, could have her life insurance. So we went through this process, got their inflows of how much income, their outflows of their debt, including the new payments that they were looking at doing, and we realized that there was a common pattern that needed to be addressed. The pattern that needed to be addressed is that they were, sadly, like most people in North America, they don't even make it to the end of the month. They're already financially broke halfway through. So then you go through the budgeting items and go, well, what can you cut out? Well, guess what? People don't know. So that's why I'm there. I'm there to help them understand the differences between a need and a want. So the difference is at the end of the day, if your car breaks down and all you have is credit, that's a need. You want to put a fancy stereo in your car? That's a want. That's basically what I do, is I educate people on how they need to live a life on purpose through a budget. So fast forward 2 years later, we implemented their budget, and they did it religiously. I reached out to them, they stayed accountable to it, and they got out of debt. And they went on their first vacation. They hadn't been on a vacation in over 10 years, right? So it took them 2 years, but they got out of debt, got their first vacation, and they started saving for retirement. So what happened then was really quite tragic. John passed away a few years ago. And if I had not implemented life insurance for them, Sally would have been traumatized. And I remember sitting down with Sally and saying, well, here's the life insurance. We've got to fill out this paperwork. You're going to get this money. And as a side note, before he passed away, right, I was at the hospital hours before he passed away. He told me how much I made a difference. And bottom line, don't ever think that you can't make a difference in people's lives. That it's never too late in your life to realize that you can, too, give a heck.